Tuesday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we're here on a Tuesday. Markets were closed on Monday, President's Day. So 3-day weekend. Hopefully you got to experience that like we did. If not, well, just back into your regular Tuesday out there, right? And lots of stuff happened over the weekend. We're going to get you updated with it. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum, and as I think I already said, but we got the Market Watch stories stocks we're paying attention to, national and local stories you need to know. See, 3 days off in a row, and I screw up the whole intro. So let's just skip all that, get right into the Market Watch. Stock futures, well, they were down big earlier, kind of coming back a little bit here as we are getting ready on this Tuesday. Right now on your screen, as you can tell, everything is down right now for these futures. I can tell you, because of what you see on your screen right now lags by just a few minutes, the Dow futures actually are trending towards a positive outlook here as it's gone on. So later on when we check at these stocks, we'll take a look at them and see if we do get that rebound to the positive side on the Dow. But for the most part right now, everything down today as well, including Bitcoin. And Bitcoin still under that 70,000 level here, coming in on this Tuesday as it was all of last week as well. 68,000 there for Bitcoin on this Tuesday. So maybe this is the new basis line for Bitcoin, the high 60,000s. It's been looking like this for the last couple weeks out there. Stocks we're paying attention to? Well, the first one we're going to look at is Warner Brothers Discovery out there. Reports are out there this morning as they finished down 0.43% there on Friday, but they are a bit up here today, 2.4% here in pre-market trading. And it's all because Warner Brothers Discovery, of course, trying to be sold in a contract right now with Netflix to be bought, spin-off of some of the companies. You guys know the story by following us here at McCollum on Business. Well, Warner Brothers Discovery has been granted by Netflix a 7-day waiver to hold deal talks with Paramount Skydance out there. So now they can officially talk to Paramount Skydance. Of course, Paramount Skydance has been, making their offer better, I guess we'll phrase it here, over the last couple of months in a hostile takeover account, which means let's look at Paramount Skydance as well in terms of their stock. We know Warner Brothers Discovery is up 2.4% in pre-market trading. Well, Paramount Skydance is up 4% right now as well here in pre-markets. And by the way, pre-market trading starts about 4:30 our time here in Phoenix, 6:30 Eastern time. Market opens up at 7:30 our time. Of course, that'd be 9:30 a.m. Eastern time as well for Paramount Skydance. So big news here. They're opening up the 7-day window. I don't know if that's positive news or is that just Netflix kind of saying, look, we need to put this Paramount Skydance thing to bed to go explore that option and then come back to us. We'll have to wait and see with this 7-day window coming up. But both of these stocks up here in pre-market trading. And then we're looking at Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. Big news for this company coming out. Elliott Investment Management. You know them. They got into Southwest Airlines, made all these changes with assigned seating, red-eye flights, paying for your baggage. Elliott Investor Management has now built a more than 10% stake in Norwegian Cruise Lines as well here. So they're up 7.5% right now in pre-market trading. Norwegian Cruise Lines is. So this investor is an activist investor. They plan to press for changes to turn around the company's performance, which is why they invest in companies. They implement the changes to improve stock performance out there. Norwegian stock, well, it's been the worst stock of all their competitors, specifically Royal Caribbean and Carnival, have kind of dominated Norwegian. So Elliott Investment Management looking 10% stake so far in Norwegian and looking to make some changes here to have that stock continue up, but 7.5% up here in pre-market trading. Later on, when we come back and look at the market and the stocks, we're going to look at a company called Genuine Parts Company. Of course, they do a distributor of automotive and industrial parts. We're going to look at them. We're going to look at a company called Massimo and Danaher as well. Those two companies working together here and making some noise here in pre-market as we head toward the market opening here at 7:30 Phoenix time here coming up this morning. But first, kind of stocks that you need to look at over the weekend. And we officially have, stop me if you heard this before, a government shutdown, folks. Yes. But this one is super, super limited. And that shutdown of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is officially in effect. It started early Saturday morning, and it mainly affects just the TSA of all things, right? The Transportation Security Administration and their officers, well, they're expected to work without pay as lawmakers are going to squabble over funding of the Department of um, Homeland Security here for who knows how long here coming out. There needs to be an agreement, obviously, on funding, this on the annual funding. TSA officers, as you know, also worked through the last 43-day shutdown that ended November 12th. And this one here, and I was reading over the weekend, a lot of these TSA agents just received all of their back pay and finished that up here and just recently as well. Now they're going back to working with no paycheck again as well. This one could play out differently because it's a very streamlined conversation here on TSA agents as well. Trade groups for the U.S. travel industry and major airlines, well, they're warning us as consumers that the longer DHS appropriations are lapsed, well, the longer security lines at the big commercial airports could get. And we saw that last time as well. This all the funding expired at midnight, basically Friday night, early Saturday morning, which is what put us in this position for this partial shutdown as well. Here's the interesting thing: it's the only thing being shut down. The rest of the federal government is actually funded through September 30th. Air traffic controllers funded, so you don't have to worry about them not being paid and run into some of those airline situations as we did last time with cutting back on flights and things to that effect. So anybody else, employees funded, right, paid by the Federal Aviation Administration are going to receive paychecks as usual as well, which does reduce the risk of any widespread flight cancellations. Of course, TSA can bottle that up pretty well, right? If you can't make it through their security sides as well. So according to the TSA's contingency plan, 95% of TSA workers are deemed essential personnel. They are required to keep working. Doesn't mean they can't call in sick in large amounts, right? What's happening here? Democrats in the House and Senate, they say DHS won't get funded until new restrictions are placed on federal immigration operations, even though the ICE and those facilities are all funded. They want to make those changes here, and they're willing to play with the TSA's paychecks here to get that kind of changes happen as well. So be ready for possible disruptions coming up the longer this shutdown goes, as nobody wants to work for free, especially for long periods of time out there as well. So the TSA agents on the line and on the clock right now as well. So something to keep an eye on. Another thing to keep an eye on, right? We talk a lot about how Chinese goods have implemented in America. Part of the reasons for the tariffs that President Trump's doing, get things back to an American soil and in terms of manufacturing and stuff. And I've been reading a lot, right? Chinese auto manufacturers are making across the globe. They're dominating out there, right? Overtook that BYD company, overtook Tesla coming up here. So how realistic is it that Chinese cars could be in an American dealership? And how soon could it be as well? Well, it could be sooner than you think. That is for sure. Is this will probably be a good thing for U.S. consumers, but will it be a good thing for the U.S. automotive side of things is the bigger question, right? Chinese car companies make more vehicles than anyone else on Earth, and they export more vehicles than anyone else at the same time. High tariffs, hostile U.S. trade relationships, they've kept the Chinese cars out of the American market as of now. But how fast can that change? Well, according to experts, with Chinese autos hitting U.S. showrooms are going to be in the next 5 to 10 years that quickly. Multiple Chinese automakers have shown a lot of readiness to come to the U.S., even to build in the U.S. These cars. That would be helpful for American car buyers. Why would that be helpful for us, I guess I should say? Greater competition, well, that means more choices, especially for EVs, which is the Chinese specialty in terms of their cars, what they like to do. And it also should lower prices, not just on EVs, but cars in general. But it's also going to squeeze the profits and market share of the car companies already selling in the United States, which is going to affect a lot of people. Over 1 million people work for car manufacturers here in the U.S. Chinese cars shipped to America actually, as of right now, do come with a 100% tariff. That is not even close, but it's by far the highest tariff rate for any import. And the interesting thing about this is, they can just, because Chinese manufacturers get subsidized by the Chinese government, they can lower the prices to whatever they need to, and that for that tariff as well. But President Trump, he's a big critic of most Chinese products, hence the tariff situation. But he is always going to be welcoming of any brands, be it Chinese or not, if they build plants in the U.S. and bring manufacturing back here. So we're seeing more and more talk, kind of like the litmus test here. We're seeing more and more talk of Chinese companies coming into the United States here, at least on the car side. Will it drive down prices? Absolutely. Will it mean technology increases faster? Absolutely. Because the competition is a good thing, right? But what's that do for the existing companies? Can they react fast enough, right? You can go just back until the 80s when Japanese cars started coming into the United States, how that round up and affected the U.S. car market. So kind of might be back into that type of a deal coming up as well. And we got two stories here for you. One, of course, on store closures. Not a shocker. We do these stories a lot here on McCollum on Business these days. And then one that's going to make your life easier with another retailer. But first, of course, Wendy's, the fast food company, and quite frankly, fast food giant out there. Well, they're going to close hundreds of U.S. restaurants officially now because it's looking to focus on value and boost lagging sales here in the United States. So if you go to their fourth quarter numbers here, right, the October through December quarter, well, Wendy's reported same-store sales. So basically stores that are open for at least a year, they declined 11.3% here in the United States. We told you this last week as well. Burger King had great numbers. Wendy's did not. So Wendy's had previously announced late last year that it's going to close several underperforming restaurants, according to their interim CEO. Well, we got more details on Friday with the call with investors. So Wendy's shuttered 28 locations in the fourth quarter of 2025. They expect to close 5 to 6% of its 5,959 restaurants out there. So that's going to be anywhere from 298 to 358 locations, if the math is correct there. And that's just in the first half of 2026. The planned closures occur as the fast food giant does continue that turnaround plan. This is the one that they call Project Fresh. Announced in October of 2025, Project Fresh is a strategy that's designed to revitalize and rebrand and reignite growth. Obviously, they want to get more profitable throughout time as well. But part of the plan to win back customers, well, it's shifting its focus to value. We've seen this with McDonald's and other fast food points as well, because a lot of core customers are feeling the pressure and strain by higher living costs and quite frankly, the more expensive fast food prices out there as well. So Wendy's with some closures being announced here in the first quarter of 2026 as well. And, so if you're a big Wendy's fan, just don't get the Frosties better. Sometimes you get them and they're all soggy and not frozen, right? Ugh. But I do have a story here that's going to make your life easier. If you do this already, you know what I'm talking about here. And you're soon, it's a company called Costco, right? That small company, they're coming into the modern age here, folks. You'll soon be able to place custom cake, even deli tray orders directly through Costco's mobile app and their website coming up. Because as of right now, you're going to have to drive to a Costco. You have to fill out a paper order form inside the store, stand in line, hand it off, and then come back and get it in 24 to 48 hours as well. So Costco says the upgrade to a digital order service, which will be out, we think, sometime this year, well, it's going to streamline orders from the start of it to the pickup of those orders out there as well. They've been using the outdated system, and a lot of people describe it as clunky. A lot of people are dismayed by the process to order this stuff here at Costco. So this new online ordering system is expected to include sheet cake options. I knew I'd struggle with that, as well as customizable cakes, allowing customers to choose sizes, shapes, flavors, designs, and inscriptions from a catalog of available cake options. So Costco did not provide any specific dates for when the system would be fully implemented across all locations. Only thing I saw in this was in LA, a Fox station said that they would see him there in Southern California, Los Angeles area, sometime at the end of 2026 is what I saw for that. So it's still got some rolling out. They're probably just now getting into the testing phase, I'm going to assume, here as well. But digital ordering coming soon, folks, for those of you that do that type of stuff there at Costco out there. And I want to make you aware of a little bit of a change under Verizon's terms as well here for your cell phone, right? You like to upgrade your phone quicker. You like to travel overseas and have an unlocked phone so you can use obviously SIM cards and things, over there in Europe instead of paying the larger fees here. Or if you just want to upgrade your phone and want to sell your current phone instead of trading it in, pay attention to this because Verizon's current device unlocking policy, customers who pay off their payment agreement balance online or in the My Verizon app, well, you now have to wait 35 days before your phone will be unlocked. The same delay applies if a Verizon gift card is used to buy a smartphone or customers pay off the remaining balance as well of the phone. The delay applies to postpaid customers who pay off a device installment plan online or on the app. Pay attention here, online or app payment off of anything or gift cards, right? If you complete your installment agreement with scheduled monthly payments, well, you'll continue to have your device unlocked automatically after the final payments. So why are they doing this? Well, it's simple. Fraud is why they're doing that as well. You may be able to avoid the 35 delay of unlocking your phone, which means you can switch. So unlocking the phone just simply means you can sell it to somebody else. You can trade it. You can trade it in. You can, as easy as simple as switch carriers with the current phone that you have as well. So you could pay off and avoid this 35 delay if you pay off the remaining balance in person, but only at a Verizon corporate store, none of those authorized dealers out there. But you also have to use a secure payment method in that time frame. So the chip has to be used or cash, those types of things in order for that to happen. So, they want to avoid fraud. They must be having a lot of people paying stuff off and then kicking it back to them after they unlock it and they move on. There are some drawbacks to this change, though, and this is why a lot of people are up in arms about it out there, right? So, for example, it's going to limit customers' ability to quickly unlock a phone before international travel. And that's, like I said, to use a local SIM card abroad, avoid using the U.S. fees and things to that effect. Just make the phone eligible to use over there on their policies and their things. So if you realize you're traveling here, within 30 days, you pay off your phone, bloop, well, you might not be good to go right away. But it's also going to make a lot of complications, as I said earlier, for customers hoping to sell a paid off device immediately. So you buy a new phone, even if it's with Verizon, you want to unload the other one. You don't want to trade it in because you can get more by selling it. Well, you might have to wait 35 days out there. And of course, the big one here, 35-day delay. If you do it the online way at all, well, it's going to delay your switching carriers without interruptions as well. But then the hardest part, right? What's a corporate store? What's an authorized dealer store? It's hard to tell them apart. So you can go into an authorized dealer store and pay it off. Well, you have to wait. You have to wait at 35 at that point. So some drawbacks to this, getting a lot of backlash online and everywhere else with this policy change here over the weekend. I saw lots and lots of people talking about that story online. When we come back here at McCollum on Business, Garmin making some big moves here in town. You know Garmin, the technology company, GPS stuff. Big moves here in the East Valley. We'll talk about that coming up as well. We're going to look at Genuine Auto Parts, Massimo, and a company called Danaher as well. So come on back, folks. McCollum on Business. And we're back here, McCollum on Business Tuesday edition. Well, that means a morning business show here for you. 7 a.m. is when we go live here at Robat TV. Of course, the rest of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 a.m. at our normal times. Here we're testing out the Tuesday mornings. Every once in a while, we'll do a Thursday or something here, early morning as well, breakfast, to try it out. Positive reviews from you guys out there. We appreciate it very much. A lot of you said that you could catch it either live, and we see the numbers on there actually are up. And a lot of you said you can catch it on demand as well, either on Robat TV, of course, the YouTube page of our podcast, of our production company here, what we do here around this business. And of course, a lot of you have had positive feedback on that. So we're making our decisions here. We'll have a decision here in the next couple weeks, as we've got some other things we're working on here that's part of that decision process coming up. As soon as we're done here, we'll get it on demand here at Robat TV and on the YouTube page. Then we roll right into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestray get you caught up on the weekend. Of course, on Tuesdays, Bruce Cooper comes in and joins us for the 9 o'clock hour as well. So stay tuned for that on demand. Of course, YouTube and also Robat TV, and also free podcast for the main event at TME Sports Show on your favorite podcast system. Follow us at TME Sports Show on your favorite social media app, or maybe not your favorite, but at least X out there. Follow us there as well. You saw the ad there for The Real Matrix. Every Friday at 10 o'clock, Robat TV, new episode comes out. Last week's episode was about the Fed. This week at 10 a.m., new episode coming out, of course. 10 a.m. on Robat TV, YouTube. It's noon, as well as the podcast system. Just search The Real Matrix on the favorite podcast system. It'll come right up for you there as well. The Angry Patriot. So they can do The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot, or just The Real Matrix. It comes up. I've tested it nonstop, and I know it does there as well. Of course, coming up, catch all the other episodes, 17 of them out now. Any of that. And then new to The Real Matrix on Rumble as well for you Rumble fans out there. Rumble is out there for all of the episodes of The Real Matrix in its entirety. We had to move it off of YouTube a little bit because of some copyright or some YouTube issues they consider things hate speech and stuff like that. And when you talk about certain subjects out there, even though like the Fed isn't a hate speech topic, but that's what YouTube does. So we had to move it off of the YouTube page. We have some ideas to get some previews up there for you guys, though, so stay tuned for that coming up here. We'll be working on that in the next couple of weeks. Then, of course, the Pit Stop came back last week. Over the weekend on Sunday, we had the Daytona 500. That big event, got a fun race out there. We'll talk about that. New episode coming this Wednesday on the Pit Stop because of the holiday yesterday. Well, it's a little bit delayed here coming up this week. Only one episode here in the first couple of weeks. Then we'll get back to the 2 episodes a week here coming up. But the Pit Stop back this week as well. We'll look back at the Daytona 500 festivities, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for that. Truck Xfinity, O'Reilly Series, and then, of course, the Cup Series. And then look ahead this weekend as well to the race coming up this weekend. So, folks, come and join us here, whether it be on the YouTube page, the free podcast systems, or, of course, right here, Robat TV. And with all that being said, let's get right back into the Market Watch. Market opens here in 4 minutes. Well, I told you before things were trending to the positive. Guess not. Everything is still in the negative here. These are all the futures right now. Dow futures is down, as you can see. S&P down as well. NASDAQ, I forgot the link is broken. It's the service we use. They have a broken link. They haven't fixed it yet, but NASDAQ futures also is down 150 points. I can tell you that here as well. Of course, Bitcoin also down here. Well, 68,000 range is what that is at here. So we'll have to keep our eyes on the market as it's getting ready to open up here in 4 minutes. But so far, stock futures are falling. Now, keep in mind, shortened week here, right? Today's the first trading day of the week, so only 4 days. But I can also tell you, tech and software shares are what are hurting the Dow future, the futures in general here today. So something to keep an eye on as we go into the regular market. Genuine Auto Parts will be the first stock that we're paying attention to here in this segment. You know, if you've heard of them, they distribute auto and industrial replacement parts. Well, they finished Friday down 0.30% and then down big here in pre-market trading. 6% down in pre-market as of right now as well. Their fourth quarter earnings and revenue did fall short of expectations. Well, they only earned $1.55 per share. The expectation was $1.82 per share for them. Big miss as well. They even missed big on revenue. They came in at $6.01 billion. The expectation was $6.06 billion for Genuine Auto Parts. So, company here starting the pre market here, 6% down for them. And then we're going to look at a health tech company, and this is a big one here. Massimo is the one we're going to look at right now. They finished Friday down 2.11%. But they're up over 33% here in pre-market trading, folks, as of right now. We'll have to see how they open up here. Well, the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times both reported the same thing, that the company here, Massimo, well, they're nearing a deal with a company called Danaher, which is our next stock that we're going to take a look at as well. Massimo up 33% here in pre-market trading. Danaher, well, it's going to be acquired by Massimo for $180 per share. Basically, that comes out to about $10 billion, and they're going to do it all in cash as well. Well, one was up 33%, Massimo, in pre-market trading. Danaher is now officially down 7% here in pre-market trading, as they are reportedly, according to the Wall Street Journal and Financial Times, being purchased by Massimo here coming up as well. So, big movement here by these stocks here early here on this early trade Tuesday morning here, and with the markets reopening here in about 1 minute after the holiday weekend. Now we get into some local stocks out there, and we heard about this over the weekend on Friday. Garmin actually came out. You know, Garmin, right? They do GPS stuff for homes, watches, etc., your cars back in the day. Well, they do a lot of aviation stuff as well, and we found out that they acquired a hangar and even an office complex over at the Mesa Gateway Airport. Well, Garmin is expanding its aviation division here in Arizona. So Garmin announced, I believe it was on Friday, that it will use the two adjacent hangars, totaling about 75,000 square feet. What they want to do is they want to expand the company's capacity for its air certification and flight test organizations. So Garmin's aviation division creates a large variety, we'll put it that way, of technologies for all different sizes and variety of aircraft out there in the market. So Garmin expanding their presence here in Arizona for their aviation division out there in Mesa. And Mesa, especially that Mesa Gateway Airport, expanding huge with companies in that type of field as well. And make note here, because we have March Madness is the next big sporting events coming up. Of course, we have spring training going on now. Major League Baseball is going to start up, but most importantly, we got March Madness coming up as well. Now we have some policy changes here on two large national gambling companies operating here in Arizona. What they're doing is, well, they announced they're no longer going to take the credit card deposits anymore coming up here, and they have dates on that as well. The reason why? Lots of fees with the credit cards here that you as a consumer has to pay as well. That you're looking at. Now, the big companies, DraftKings already announced this, and then FanDuel did it over the weekend as well. You know FanDuel, it's over there at the Phoenix Suns Arena. It's partnered with them. Well, FanDuel says it's making the change by March 2nd. They want to improve the customer experience. DraftKings had already announced it. They partnered with TPC Scottsdale up there, the golf tournament, but they dropped credit card deposits last year, DraftKings did. FanDuel did issue a statement saying that this decision has been in the works for a long time as well. Most sports bettors don't use credit cards, cash deposits, obviously because you're responsible for the fees out there. And if you know anything about credit cards, the fees are ridiculous on the cash side of stuff. So now they're not letting you do it, because that could obviously lead to trouble. You get in a little bit of trouble. You need to, you get a little nuts there. And you go, I need a place this bad. I need a place, and you don't have money. So you go to the credit cards, take out the fees, right? Make a $20 bet, but you have $10 in fees on top of it. Makes it a $30 bet. So they're taking that option away from you here, moving up. Those two large companies. You expect the other ones to follow suit, to be honest with you out there. And if you have youngins going to college here as well, one, you could teach them how credit cards work and kind of how to avoid them and things to that effect. And yeah, there's also an expanded, let's put it this way, an expanded career degree that they could go into. And Gateway Community College is coming out, and they're going to launch 6 new online career certificate programs, all for one thing: cannabis out there, folks. Lots of money in that business, no doubt about it. So of course, Gateway Community College is part of that Maricopa Community College system. They first introduced cannabis business training back in 2020, but now 6 more degree programs coming out, and this significantly broadens the foundation. They're going to have updated curricula, lower pricing, and instruction for more than 50 industry professionals involved in this expansion here of these certificate programs. There's a cheap version here of the program, and then some more expensive ones. The cheapest one, well, it's going to be cost you $850 to go through this certificate. It's an 8-week program, and students can take it's a 8-week program, if I can say it right, $850. And now students can take this here to earn a cannabis associate certificate. It teaches students about cannabis policy, plant science, industry sectors, compliance, and everything you need to know in that type of field in that 8 weeks. So students will be ready for entry-level roles across that cannabis industry when they get that certificate after the 8 weeks. So that's one of the 6. Now the other 5, well, they take place over 16 weeks. They're $2,200 a piece at that point. Here's what they are: Cannabis Cultivation Specialist Certificate. That's where students are prepared for cultivation roles across indoor, outdoor, or even greenhouse environments. Cannabis Product Development Specialist Certificate. Ugh, that's a long name there. Students learn how to develop cannabis products from extraction to finished goods. Things like edibles, concentrates, into drinks, which are the biggest rage right now as well. Then you got the Cannabis Retail and Sales Specialist Certificate. You gain product knowledges, sales skills, and best practices for dispensary and brand sales jobs out there in that cannabis industry. And then you got Cannabis Compliance Specialist Certificate. Students there learn how to manage compliance across retail, manufacturing, and cultivation operations. And then finally, you can get into the Medical Cannabis Specialist Certificate. And keep in mind, these are the $2,200 classes, 16-week ones here as well. In the Medical Cannabis Specialist Certificate, students there are prepared for roles in dispensaries, clinics, and other settings that serve medical patients specifically going forward. So Gateway Community College, if somebody has interest in that, 6 new programs coming your way for those certificates, and quite frankly, a growing industry and already a big one out there. And now let's pay attention to another local company done well, right? Dutch Bros. Or as I like to call them, Dutch Brothers, just to have some fun with them there. And people always go, "It's not Dutch Brothers." I know, I'm stupid. They, of course, moved their corporate headquarters to Tempe over the last year or so. They just completed its best financial year ever. They're expecting to do even better here coming up in 2026. Their guidance forward was huge for them. Last Thursday, they announced their results, and they ended 2025 a total revenue of $1.64 billion. That was up 27.9% from 2024. The company grew its earnings 76.4% in that same yearly time frame as well. Huge growth here for Dutch Bros. Now, so it's not just all new stores growing that up, by the way. 5.6% increase in same shop sales as well. They released its 2025 fourth quarter and full earnings report last Thursday on the market. Well, so then they went to the conference call like everybody does, and CEO and president, her, Christine Barone. We talk about her a lot here, especially from the move from Grants Pass, Oregon, for the corporate headquarters down here to Tempe. Well, she said they would open at least 181 new locations in 2026. They opened 154 in 2025 as well. So positive success here for Dutch Bros. Going to keep going as well. And successful company now. They split time between corporate offices, between Oregon and here, officially down here as well. And I'll tell you guys here, I don't think our graph updates as quickly because we're only 7 minutes into trading. But I can tell you Dow Jones is up 26 points right now. S&P 500 up 2 points. NASDAQ is down 6 points as we start this shortened week. Russell 2K's up 30 points right now, and Bitcoin still 68,000 range for them. So everything is moving toward the positive here. In the futures, everything was negative, but everything moving toward the positive with NASDAQ basically flat here as we open up the market here today. And again, tech and software shares are the big movers down here as pre-market has kept going and going into the market here as well. So we are all done here with this morning show. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be back at 11 o'clock. Come and join us for McCollum on Business. Share us with your friends. On demand here as well on the YouTube page, of course, on Robat TV as well for this show. We're going to roll right into the main event here at 8 o'clock with me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrey. Bruce Cooper, of course, 12 News fame. Retired 12 News fame joins us here on this Tuesday. So come and join us, would you? We'll see you then, everybody. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you later. Stay dry out there.